Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Curious coming at you with another video. Now today, I guess one of the video ideas was my friend suggested was what would have happened if the Straw Hats didn't do a time skip? So basically, what would have happened if they just tried to go to the new world without a time skip? I mean, it's pretty obvious, that I don't even know why my friend even asked me this question. It's pretty obvious that without the time skip, the Straw Hats would have been history. I mean, come on now. Like the Straw Hats are having problems, with in the new world already, and and this is involved with the time skip. So everyone got major power ups and everything, and they're still, having trouble with the Yonkos and everything else going on. So it's like, you without a time skip, these guys would have been history. And yeah, Luffy would definitely not have been the Pirate King. So, but yeah, I'll continue with this video. So if the time skip had never happened, so the whole point of the time skip, we know, is to basically give the Straw Hats a reason to give them a power up, right? Because they were too weak to proceed forward in the new world. Because they were too weak to deal with like the threats in the new world, such as the warlords, the Yonko, the stronger Marines. There's no way they could have dealt with these people being at the power level that they're at. So they said, Oda was thinking to himself, what's a good way we can power up these people without being like, hey, these people just got random power ups for no reason. You know what? Let's do a time skip. And I honestly think a time skip was a good idea. I know some animes have done time skips, like for example Naruto. They did a time skip. But the thing I didn't like about Naruto is Naruto really didn't become that much stronger when he did a time skip. I think he did a 3-year time skip from when he left the village when he came back, but he didn't become stronger at all. Like there was no evidence. Like the only thing that really happened with Naruto is he got a bigger Rasengan, which is the stupidest thing I have ever saw. But I mean, whatever. So there are some animes that have adopted the idea of time skip, which makes sense. They're like, oh, these people need to get stronger. Here, we're gonna put them on a time skip, show them the growth from this point to whatever year they decide to, make the time skip. So in this case, for One Piece, it was 2 years, and then show the, the confidence level growth and what they are, where they were from, to where they are now. But I think it's very, I think it's very easy to assume that like pre time skip Straw Hats, that if they had entered the new world as they were, they probably would have got the crap kicked out of them. So let's think about this. Let's think about it. Before they get into the new world, they would have had to go to Fishman Island, and they probably would have encountered Hody Jones and all them other fishmen. Now, pre-time skip Straw Hats, because we know post-time skip Straw Hats had no problem, defeating the fishmen on that island. Now I think about pre-time skip Straw Hats. I mean, I still think they would have won that battle. I just think they would have barely came out with their lives. Because think of it like this, right? Luffy uses Conqueror's Haki post-time skip, right? He knocks out 50,000 of the fishmen, right? Luffy pre-time skip, he has Conquerors, but he doesn't have control of it yet. So not only would he not be able to knock out that number, but he probably wouldn't have been able to unleash it unless something catastrophic happened. For example, when Ace was about to die, that's when he released his Conqueror's Haki, and yeah. And then the other moment where he released Conqueror's Haki was when he stopped the bull on that with that arc with Devil, however you spell his name, I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, he didn't consciously have Conqueror's Haki, so if he wasn't able to use Conqueror's Haki on the island, that's an extra 50,000 men, right? That are ready to just go to war, right? So it would have been the Straw Hats versus. Oh, speaking of which, actually, damn. Now that I think about it, Jinbei would not even have been a member of the Straw Hats. Because you remember, if you think about it like this, right? Actually, no, yeah, he probably would have. Because I was thinking, pre-time skip, like, what if, they didn't do the time skip? But then again, they did meet Jinbei after during the Impel Down arc. No, yeah, so I take that back. They would have met Jinbei, but yeah, they just wouldn't have been as strong as they are. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So it would have been the Straw Hats versus the 10,000, 100,000 men. Now, given that Luffy wouldn't have been able to consciously use Conqueror's Haki, and they wouldn't have had Haki at that moment, Sanjay, Luffy, and Zoro, it would have just been, you know, a very, very tough fight. I definitely think the Straw Hats still would have been able to pull through. However, I just don't think that they would have been able to, you know, beat them as easily as they did during the post-time skip. I definitely think they still would have came out on top, but barely. So now so now that we talked about the Fishman Island arc and how they would have, you know, won that battle, just barely though. Let's think about the next arc. So the next arc after Fishman Island, I believe, is Punk Hazard. Yeah, Punk Hazard. That is a tough one because you got Logia users that were on that island, and as you know, Haki makes it so that you're able to hit Logia users. So if Luffy versus Caesar happened and Luffy wasn't able to use Haki, unless he found Caesar's specific weakness to his power that would nullify him like Haki, then I don't see how Luffy would win this fight. Unless he, you know, threw some sea prison stone cuffs at him and just, you know, locked him up and then started wailing the crap out of him that way. But if he doesn't find the weakness to Caesar, or, you know, he doesn't, you know, get him to in a position where he wears sea prison stone cuffs, then honestly, Caesar would win that battle against Luffy. I don't see how Luffy would win that battle. So I mean, so if we think about and then the Yetis, when Zoro them got ambushed by the Yetis, it's just like that was post time skip Zoro and them, and they still got, you know, ambushed. So pre time skip Zoro and them would have no chance of that. So I honestly think that if they went to Punk Hazard pre time skip, they probably wouldn't have made it out alive. A lot of, you know, there was a, you know, Caesar with the Logia type, and they wouldn't have been able to defeat him at that time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say that Punk Hazard would be an L. Now we think about the next arc, Dressrosa. Yeah, Dressrosa would also be an L. And the reason for that is if we think about Punk Hazard, right? I mean, not Punk Hazard, Dressrosa. Luffy defeats Flamingo using his Gear 4th. Now, post-time skip, you know, that's no problem for Luffy. But pre-time skip, Luffy not only doesn't have Haki, he also doesn't have Gear 4th, because Gear 4th, you know, is basically deprived of Haki. He uses an insane amount of Haki. So if Luffy pre-time skip doesn't have Haki, right, then it kind of put Luffy at a disadvantage. And if you remember in the anime, in the manga, right, Luffy tries using Gear 2nd, and he tries using Gear 3rd, and both of those gears were ineffective against Doflamingo. So, and really the only gear that was able to actually deal some damage to the Doflamingo was Gear 4th. You know, some major damage. So if you take that away, yeah, there's no way Luffy would have made it off that island. No doubt about that. There's no way he would have made it off that island. Now let's think about Zoro, right? Because, you know, as you guys remember, the Straw Hats did get split up. Some of them ended up going to Zoe, and then some of them stayed on the island. So we think about Zoro versus Pika. Now Zoro didn't have Haki at the pre-time skip either, so he wouldn't have been able to really cut Pika at the massive scale he did post-time skip. So that Zoro versus Pika fight, if it was pre-time skip Zoro versus Pika fight, that would have been a major L for Zoro. Major L. Like a massive L. Like, I don't see how he would have defeated Pika, because he wouldn't have had Haki, and he would have been at a disadvantage, and it just would have been ugly. Like, that dude Zoro would have been like in a coffin, 6 feet under, because he just wouldn't have made it out of there alive. Let's think about who else. Nico Robin. Who did Nico Robin fight? I'm trying to remember. Did she fight anyone? I don't think she fought anyone. Let me think. I don't remember her fighting anyone. I think she assisted Kroos in the fight against Diamante, but I don't remember her fighting anyone, so I think Nico Robin would be, you know, chilling on that spectrum. Who else do we got that stayed on the island? Frankie versus Baby. I think Frankie pre-time skip would have gotten the dub, but I honestly think that he would have almost been dead. And then who we got? Usopp. Usopp didn't really have any fight scenes this arc. He did save Luffy and Law from being turned to toys by what's her name? Shoulda, with the help of observational haki. So it's pre-time skip Usopp, right? This was pre-time skip Usopp trying to save Luffy and Law without observational haki. I think he would have failed, and Luffy and Law would have turned into toys, and that would have been the end of the Straw Hat journey, because nobody would have remembered Luffy, and nobody would have remembered who Law is, and like their journey would have came to an end at that point in time. Yeah, that would have been ugly. So yeah, that's just those are just the arcs that I think that we could talk about the whole Cake. I mean, obviously the whole Cake Island arc. There's no way they would have made it out of there alive. I mean, shoot, this is post time skip Luffy taking on Katakuri, who has insane observational haki and insane armament haki. So pre-time skip Luffy was to take on Katakuri. That's a major L. That's a major L. However we see it. And then think about the rest of the Straw Hats. Sanji at the wedding, if he didn't have observational haki, and when Katakuri slaying that jelly bean right at him, it would have been a major L, because he would have just right to the head. Let's think about the rest of the Straw Hats. Yeah, the other three didn't really have any major fight scenes, so I wouldn't say anything about them. They were more of just like on the stealth. But yeah, if they were forced to fight anyone, that would have been a major L. Luffy would have for sure lost against Cracker too, so he would have lost against Cracker, he would have lost against Katakuri, and that would have just been ugly, ugly, ugly. Yeah, it just wouldn't have been great. So yeah, the Straw Hats would have taken an L on that island as well. So it just goes to show you, if the Straw Hats didn't, for whatever reason, they didn't have the time skip of 2 years, they wouldn't have made it through the New World. I mean, there are some instances where they could have survived a couple arcs, a couple islands, but overall, like them as a whole, they probably would have lost the whole crew, and the Straw Hat journey would have came to an end. So I think the only arcs they would have really survived going to the New World is the Fishman Island arc, and then potentially, maybe Punk Hazard. I don't think they would have survived the Dressrosa. I don't think they would have survived the whole King Island arc. And then Zhao, nothing really happened on Zhao, really, that, required Straw Hats fighting anyone. So, yeah, I just think, yeah, they wouldn't, they could, have some arcs in the New World that they would have survived. But overall, I just don't think that they would have made it much further. So, yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up. Without the pre-time skip, I mean the time skip, not pre-time skip, but without the time skip, they never would have really learned the basics of hockey. The enemies they would have fought moving forward, they would have always been at a disadvantage, and it just would have been ugly for all of them. So. Yeah, so I just thought this was a fun little video idea. It's a very simple video, but you might as well touch bases, and talk about, what would have happened if they didn't do the time skip, and yeah, just show what the status of the Straw Hats would be without the time skip. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Leave a comment, leave a like as to what you enjoyed about the video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, take care and have a great day.